The night has fallen over Collinwood, and its darkness conceals many things, including the reason a young boy left his home on an inexplicable errand. But Elizabeth Stoddard has seen her nephew David enter the Todd's antique shop late at night and is determined to find out why.
There's no need to go upstairs, Mrs. Stoddard. I was just up there. I'd have heard him.
Where else could he be? I'm sorry, Mrs. Todd. I know this is an intrusion, but surely you understand that a boy can't wander around Collinsport at all hours. Can we go up and look now?
It's all right. I've brought you what you need. I'll always look out for you. You know that. It's my duty. You like what I brought you. I know you will.
David, where are you? I know you're here. David? He certainly doesn't seem to be up here. Did you say this is the baby's room?
Yes.
What's that terrible sound?
Terrible sound.
Can't you hear it? Strange breathing. So heavy. He must be able to hear it. Oh, it stopped now.
Oh, that. Mrs. Stoddard, you really had me worried for a minute, till I realized what you were talking about. It's the radiator.
A what?
We have a radiator that makes the most incredible sounds. Well, you know, you just heard it.
That couldn't be a radiator.
Yes. I'm sure there's a rumor around that the Todds keep a pet rhinoceros.
I would like to go into that room before we go downstairs.
There's really no need to. I was in there at the same time that you say David came in.
But he could have come up here and hidden somewhere and then gone into that room when you went downstairs.
Mrs. Stoddard, I really can't understand why your nephew would behave in such an odd way in my house.
No, neither can I. That's one of the reasons I want to find him.
Well, you won't find him in that room, I'm sure of it.
Mrs. Todd, I have a distinct feeling that you're deliberately trying to keep me out of that room. You are, aren't you?
Yes, I am. You see, Joseph is so hard to put to sleep and, well, he's such a light sleeper. Certainly you can understand that.
And certainly you can understand my concern for my nephew. I'm sorry, Mrs. Todd. I promise you the baby won't even know I'm in the room. I'll be so quiet. What was that?
It will be all right now.
Look! He must have been hiding behind that desk when I came in.
Yes, and he knocked this over when he ran out.
You see, Mrs. Todd, he was here.
Well, apparently he was.
Why?
But I have no idea.
Neither have I. But I can assure you I'm going to find out.
Oh, well, when you do, you will let me know, won't you?
I certainly will. I'm sorry to have bothered you, Mrs. Todd. Good night.
Oh, not at all. I understand, Mrs. Stoddard. One has to look after one's children very carefully. Good night, Mrs. Stoddard.
Good night.
That was close, wasn't it?
Oh, when she began to open that door, I was terrified. I didn't know how to stop her.
Neither did I. But someone did.
Who do you think it was?
I don't know. But that doesn't matter. What matters is something had to be done. And one of us was there to do it.
I didn't realize you were that interested in Mr. Tate, Miss Corey.
Oh, yes.
It's a very ambitious project, having a showing of his paintings.
Oh, no, not at all, no. Actually, all I have to do is the preliminary scouting. I have a very dear friend in New York who owns a gallery. He does the real work.
Seems like a strange project for someone like you.
Well, no. As you well know, he painted a portrait of my grandmother. I'd like to see him rediscovered for her sake.
You must have been very devoted to your grandmother, huh?
Yes, I was. She's a fascinating woman. Someday I must tell you all about her.
Yes, I'd like that very much.
Do you find Charles Tate's tragedy terribly moving?
Tragedy? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about a handsome young man, a great talent, admired, adored, but suddenly out of style, forgotten.
Oh, that's what you mean.
Well, nobody knows whether he's dead or alive.
I see.
Well, I guess because I'm an actress, my imagination supplies the missing pieces, makes a whole person out of Charles Tate, a person who grows more bitter as the years pass and his gifts fade away. I fancied myself as his last admirer. I'm surprised that there's two of us.
Well, if your plans work out, there'll be many more.
Yes, there will be. And now that you understand my plans, Dr. Hoffman, maybe you'll give me permission to photograph your Tate for my friend in New York.
Well, now that I do understand your plans, there's no reason why I shouldn't.
Well, can I come to Collinwood to get the picture?
Oh, yes, whenever you like. No, I have a better idea. I'll send it to you with Mrs. Stoddard's chauffeur.
Oh, how very kind of you. I thank you very much.
You're quite welcome. Nice to see you.
Goodbye. Mr. Nakamura, things are going exactly as the way I planned. You may now make the necessary arrangements.
You want me to tell her I'm Mrs. Stoddard's chauffeur?
Yes.
Why?
Well, because Olivia Corey may be playing the greatest performance of her career off stage.
What do you mean?
She says that she's Amanda Harris's granddaughter. I've no reason not to believe her, except
what?
Except that for some reason I feel that she's not the person that she says she is.
How can I find out whether she is or she isn't?
Perhaps this will help.
What is it?
I found this in the West Wing in an old trunk with lots of papers in it.
And no matter what the passing world may think, I will love you forever. You know I will. A.H. A.H. Amanda Harris.
Yes. It's written to Quentin Collins, summer 1897.
Well, what does it have to do with Olivia Corey?
Chris, Chris, I want you to get a sample of Olivia Corey's handwriting.
Now, wait a minute. You think Olivia Corey and Amanda Harris are the same person? It's impossible.
You should know that it's possible to have a secret that no one in the world will understand or believe, Chris. I think that Olivia Corey has a secret.
How can you think that, considering the life she leads? Everyone knows her. Everyone knows all about her.
Do they? Do they know everything about her? Perhaps there's one thing that they don't know, and that's the one thing that we have got to find out. Oh, Elizabeth. Oh, I've been meaning to ask you. Do you have any old family portraits that might have been stored and forgotten that might perhaps be in one of the closed wings of the house?
Oh, I'm sure there must be a great many paintings that have been put away over the years.
Would you mind if I searched for them?
Did you have any particular one in mind?
Yes, as a matter of fact, there was a painter named Charles Delaware Tate that lived in Collinsport for a time around the turn of the century. I bought a canvas of his the other day at the antique shop, and I
Antique shop?
Yes, why?
Oh, nothing.
I thought there might be others around, perhaps stored right here at Collinwood.
Well, look as much as you like, Julia.
Elizabeth, where would you suggest that I start looking?
Can we talk about it tomorrow? I'm really not in the mood to discuss paintings tonight.
Well, Dr. Hoffman is as good as her word. Well, thank you. What did you say your name was?
Jennings.
Oh, well, thank you, Jennings. And tell Dr. Hoffman that I'll return the picture to her as soon as I'm finished with it.
But she gave me specific instructions to wait for it.
Did she? Oh. She's on to us, Mr. Nakamura. It's all over. Mr. Nakamura, this is Mr. Jennings.
Hi.
Mr. Nakamura is going to photograph the painting.
Where's he going?
Well, that's where his camera is. Mr. Nakamura is an artist. He photographs all my portraits, you know. Why are you so nervous?
I just don't want anything to happen to that picture.
It won't.
I'm sorry, I don't know much about paintings.
You're convinced that it's priceless. Well, it isn't. Unless you have a special interest in Mr. Tate's works. I was about to have some tea. I better get you a cup. Jennings. Yes. Milk?
Oh, let me help you with that.
Thank you.
You looking for me, Aunt Elizabeth?
David, what were you doing in town tonight?
I wasn't in town tonight. I was in bed.
You weren't in bed when I came in.
That's because I was downstairs getting a glass of milk.
There is no use lying, David. I know you were at the antique shop.
Now, why would I be there, of all places?
I don't know, but I know you were there. I saw you. And I heard you knocking over the desk, and so did Mrs. Todd.
Well, maybe you heard somebody, but why do you think it was me?
I don't think it was, David. I know it was.
More tea?
No, thanks.
So, you've been with the Collins for over a year. Do you like it?
It's a job.
Dr. Hoffman isn't a member of the family, is she?
No.
How long has she been there?
Sometime. Miss Corey, what did you say Mr. Nakamura was doing in there?
Photographing the portrait.
Yes, but isn't he taking a long time?
I told you. Mr. Nakamura is an artist.
Oh, I'm sure, but if you don't mind, I think I'll take a look and
Well,
see what...
I think Mr. Nakamura would mind.
There's nobody here! All right, Miss Corey, where is it?
Well, I'm sure
Where
I
is he?
don't know. Well, I don't know.
You had him steal it, didn't you?
Now, why would I do a thing like that? I told you it wasn't valuable.
Except to some people, and you're among those people, aren't you?
Mr. Nakamura, where were you?
My camera was out of order. A local photographer made this. Of course, not as good as Nakamura can
Well,
make.
it's fine. Now, I think you'd better give the painting to Mr. Jennings before he calls the police.
Look, I'm sorry. It's not my painting.
Well, you're a good watchdog. I like that.
Well, photographing it doesn't seem to have hurt it at all.
No, I told you it wouldn't.
Yeah, I'd better get back to Collinwood. I feel like such a fool for the way I acted.
It's all right. I'm sure Dr. Hoffman will be anxious to get her painting back.
Yes, I'm sure she will.
Well, what's the matter?
I feel an even bigger fool asking this, but could I have your autograph?
Yes, I think I can do that for you. Is it, Jennings?
Chris Jennings. I mean, I really did see you and meet you and everything. It's not as though it was at a theater. Could you say to Chris Jennings, in memory of our meeting at the Collinwood Inn, and just sign it?
That sounds like an inscription on a plaque.
You're still sore at me for the way I acted.
Oh, no. The Collinsport Inn? Oh, well, here you are.
Miss Corey,
Good night, Chris.
good night.
Mr. Nakamura, that young man may be very useful to us. How long will it take you to get what you went for?
1 hour.
Good.
The painting certainly doesn't seem to be damaged, but what in the world was going on?
Something was, there's no question about that.
Well, tomorrow we'll have to check and find out if Mr. Nakamura really did go to the photographer.
I don't know whether he went to a photographer or not, but I did get this. Her autograph.
Oh. Good.
Now, you tell anything.
They're similar. Very similar. But are they the same?
Who can answer that question?
Only one person, I think. Professor Stokes. He's an expert at handwriting analysis.
Olivia Corey. She is certainly attractive.
Yes, she is. Men found Amanda Harris attractive, too.
Did everything go as we planned? You secured the services of the best technician in Collinsport, and his services and his silence.
Here.
Did you see this X-ray? What did you think?
There is definitely another painting underneath.
Part of it is a portrait. The question is, whose portrait? We must find out, and we will. You know what to do next.